We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Tuesday, September 10th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and this is News Generation. Today we're joined by Park Ki-hoon.
Happy Tuesday!
Happy Tuesday! And Fabio Gonzalez.
Lovely morning.
Lovely morning. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. So we're now going to move straight into our main discussion of the day. Today we're going to talk about a new trend in Korea's wedding culture. Take a look at the screen to find out more.
Spring and autumn are the most popular seasons for weddings in Korea, thanks to the pleasant weather. The unique aspect of Korean weddings is the culture of presenting 축의금, or wedding gift money, to the bride and groom. Recently, we've seen a new trend where couples are setting up kiosks for guests to easily pay their wedding gift money. What do you think about this new practice?
Right, so as mentioned in the VCR, it's wedding season again here in Korea. So I want to start off by asking our panelists, have you attended any weddings recently?
Unfortunately, yes.
Why is it unfortunate? It's such a happy moment.
It was a very happy moment for him.
Who's him?
He was actually one of my best friends. So, I was very happy for him. But the thing about the 축의금 culture in Korea, especially when you give wedding gift money to your friends, one of your best friends, you're kind of obliged to actually give that person more money compared to like how much you'll give to like your kind of like
regular normal friends.
normal friends. So I did give him quite a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was really happy for him. Yes. Wallet, it was in pain. But you know, in Korea, giving money gift for weddings and condolence money in funerals is a common practice, not just in Korea, but of course around the world. But it's a very distinctive culture here in Korea, as you have to write your name on an envelope, like where you put the cash in, and the receivers later, they have a separate book, account book, writing down how much each person paid.
Control everything.
Yeah.
So did you play that role at your best friend's wedding?
I actually had to, but you know what? In the end, I didn't really have to, because what he did was he asked one of his relatives to come all the way from like Suwon. It's pretty far from Seoul, or kind of, because look, what happens is when everyone pays the wedding gift money, it's all in cash, and they have a separate cash box. But giving it to one of your best friends to actually count all the money, I mean, it wasn't a trust issue. He wanted me to do it, but I think it was better for a relative to do it, because you know you're in safer hands, and I didn't want to feel the burden of actually counting all the money. And if I did miscount it or like lose some of the money, I would have to actually pay up with my money. So usually it's mostly like the relatives who do it. But if you don't have like close relatives, they usually ask one of their best friends.
Right.
Luckily, I didn't have to do it, but I was very close to doing it. But I really didn't want to do it.
I can feel you. Right, so Ki-hoon recently attended his best friend's wedding. Congratulations to Ki-hoon's best friend. How about you, Fabio?
No, I have never experienced a wedding in my life.
Ever?
Not here in Korea, not in Spain.
That's because you are very young.
I have never been invited.
You're too young.
But you'll soon be invited to a lot of weddings.
I hope I'll be invited maybe this year or next year. So I guess I'll have to save up money.
Right.
a lot of it.
Right, and as mentioned in the VCR and as Ki-hoon mentioned, the 축의금, which translates to wedding gift money, this culture in Korea is one of the most distinctive features of the country's wedding ceremonies. So Ki-hoon, can you tell us more about how and why this practice or custom started?
Sure, you know, there are a couple of reasons. One is to play a part in supporting the newlyweds. For spending money, they had to spend in organizing the wedding from start to finish. You know, weddings can be quite costly, as not only because it's like a one-in-a-life event, but compared to the actual ceremony itself, the short amount of time the newlyweds have to spend, they have spending time with the people who came to congratulate them. It is very expensive here in Korea. It's almost like a factory where, you know, the schedule's already jam-packed. There's like a set time limit where you can actually use the facilities. And another reason is to receive a ticket that allows you to
have lunch or dinner.
Have lunch or dinner at
Like
a
a
buffet,
voucher?
like a separate buffet. Or to be seated and be served a course meal. And finally, like I mentioned before, this is a very unique and a distinctive Korean culture that started from long time ago, where you have to write down your name in a guest book and on an envelope as well with the money gift money inside. So this was to make sure they knew exactly who came and how much they actually paid. So when a similar occasion happened to the other person, one of the visitors or their visitors' family members, they would know exactly how much or the minimum amount of money they have to pay to the other person.
Right. So we've talked about the start and why this wedding gift money culture has been existing here in Korea. Now, expanding our discussion, Fabio, I want to also ask, is there like a wedding gift money culture in your country, Spain, as well?
Of course, it's a very common practice.
Really?
It's actually more common than actually giving a personal gift. Obviously, if you give an object as a gift, it does have an intention behind it, and there's this beautiful moment of sharing something that you thought about giving that person.
Right.
But also, money is very valuable, and
that person can buy whatever he or she needs or wants.
exactly. But then it can also cause some problems, let's say. And money is just always convenient and something that people need. So it has become a very popular practice to the point that the couples would prepare a bank account that is specially designed for the guests to actually put the money in. And then there's also other practices like making a wish list of items so that the guest can actually choose among them. And one very traditional thing in Spain that happens in some of the weddings is that one of the friends would chop up the necktie of the groom.
Wow.
And then they would give the pieces of the necktie to some of the guests, and then they would have to pay for the pieces. So that way they get that kind of like founding for the whole wedding.
That's a really interesting culture. I mean, there's something similar in Korea, right, Kyun? I think you mentioned it before we started our discussion today.
What the close friends gather like after the wedding to have like food and drinks, and what they do is like they actually hit the groom. With like a soft bat, not a metal bat or a wooden bat, like a very soft like plastic bat, just to wish them like, you know, a better life as a married couple. And they would actually pay them money to actually hit the groom. So I didn't actually hit one of my friends, but I've seen a lot of other people who actually, you know, really hit their grooms, the grooms really hard. And they would actually pay them extra money to hit them again and again and again.
I see.
And one of the guys, he got bruised a lot. But I mean, it's a funny culture here in Korea, but I think it has the same underlying meaning.
Yes.
Right, so let's focus back to the wedding gift money culture once again. Now, this specific type of wedding gift has recently gained more attention here in Korea because younger people are actually setting up kiosks for guests to pay their 축의금, the wedding gift money. So, Hyun, back to you. How does the system work?
You know, it's amazing how far technology can go.
It is indeed.
This is basically a kiosk you can rent for visitors to pay gift money to receive the food ticket that I talked about before, and even for parking tickets, because most wedding convention centers in Korea, in Seoul especially, they don't provide free parking spaces, so you have to pay extra money. So there are options within the kiosk. You can choose which side you actually came as a visitor, like whether it's from the groom side or the bride side, and your relation to either the groom or the bride, whether you're a friend, a work colleague, or even a relative. And this machine will do all the work that people would have to do. In return, and it also saves paper from all the envelopes we have to use, and it allows close relatives who actually have to collect the real money to actually watch the wedding ceremony. Because usually people who have to collect money, they cannot actually see the actual wedding ceremony.
They miss the most
they miss out
important
on
part.
it. And it's like one in a life, event, and they're just busy counting money, checking names, and telling the bride and the groom like how much money was collected. So it becomes, there is a bit of an issue on this side. But I think using a kiosk is, we're living in a very
smart world,
tech
cutting edge technology.
But there are definitely downsides that we'll really talk about later.
Right, and now let's move on to the downsides, because this trend has indeed sparked quite a bit of debate here in the country. So I want to ask you, Fabio, what are your thoughts on this? Are you for this or against this? And what are some other popular opinions?
I feel like I do get the controversy around it. When you give a congratulatory gift, like a wedding gift, there's always like a philosophy behind it. You have this kind of like heartful moment.
Right, sincerity.
Exactly. It's all about sincerity. It's all about, giving that intention and having that connection with the couple. And I feel like when you put a kiosk or you build up these expectations or you kind of like get rid of the human interaction, this kind of intention is kind of lost in the process and it almost feels like a chore. It's just like with house chores actually. You are okay with doing them unless someone actually tells you to.
Right.
So I feel like obligation does prompt the action, but at the same time, it can be an issue because it kind of takes away the enthusiasm.
Right. We might like forget or lose the meaning why we initially paid the 축의금, the wedding gift money, which is our sending our congratulations and celebrating the bride and groom, right?
Exactly, yes.
Any other thoughts you'd like to add?
I just imagine myself lining up at the kiosk. And I just imagine like people lining up behind me. They'll be looking at how much money actually
exactly. Like, how much is that
and they'll
person
be like,
paying?
they'll be judging me. He's only paying that much.
Is he not close enough?
Exactly. I'm thinking that's gonna feel so uncomfortable. And like me lining up behind someone, just looking at. I know I shouldn't be looking at it, but I mean, people do that. Like, who is that person? Like, that person must be really close, or must be really rich, or quite the opposite. So anyway. Going back to your question, I think this really goes against the chong nature of Korean.
What is chong?
Chong basically means like the emotional bond people share over time by showing kindness and care. So I think attending a wedding should be an occasion to truly celebrate a person's milestone and a beginning of a new chapter, not just to pay money for a single meal, which most people think of it that way. But it shouldn't be about how much you pay and you give them. It should be about how happy you are for them and to wish them the best moving forward as a married couple. But I do understand from the wedding convention side, it is a separate private business that needs to obviously make a profit. But sometimes when I attend weddings here in Korea, like I said before, it just seems like looking at a factory.
Right.
All the wedding ceremonies, they look pretty much the
Identical.
same, except for the bride and the groom. And they have, like I said, set time limits. So you have to hurry out, go to the buffet. And there's also another time limit for the buffet as well. And like the workers will come around and say, your time's up. So you have to leave right away. And like I said, parking as well, it's hell. Like there's so many cars because usually weddings are done over the weekend. And obviously, weekends in Seoul, it is just crazy with cars and traffic. So I don't have very good experience with weddings here in Korea because I actually was invited to a wedding in Vietnam last year. And but he was one of my close friends, my brother's close friend actually, and he invited all his friends to a hotel.
Oh, wow.
For 2 nights and 3 days.
Very fancy.
Yeah, like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
And we had so much fun. We were at the beach partying, going to clubs, and it was a totally different experience. And I thought, if I do get married, I should get married like that, have a wedding ceremony. But I thought about the cost behind it and thought otherwise.
I see.
That's why I'm still single, not married.
Right, so until now, we've heard from our panelists about their opinions on the wedding gift money kiosks. Now, let's reach out to our viewers. We also asked them if the wedding cultures in their countries also involve giving money as a wedding gift and what they think about using kiosks for this purpose. And here's what 3 of them had to say. If we look at the comments, SunnyJ99 says, cash gifts are acceptable in the States. The amount of money can be adjusted based on the factors like your relationship with the couple and the budget. Nowadays, different payment methods such as Venmo and digital cards are also used. I think it'd be better to give the gift in person because it's more sentimental, but using a kiosk could be an efficient way. Leonteo93 says Singapore has a custom of giving congratulatory money at weddings. It's considered a gesture of goodwill and a way to contribute to the couple's new life together. Regarding giving cash gifts using a kiosk, some people will find it convenient and efficient, while others prefer the personal touch of handing it over in person. 5,000 Shibam says, in my country, giving cash as a gift is taxable and therefore people don't usually gift cash. Right, so we've heard some of the opinions from our viewers. Now, to get more perspectives from our generation, we're going to listen to a Gen Z who recently had her wedding in Korea to our talks after a short break.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Minjin Kim, and I'm really excited to share my thoughts on today's topic because I had my wedding in this April in Seoul. I took the most common way of having the table at the entrance of the wedding venue, and I asked my older brother and two cousins to be at the table and then receive the money behalf of me because I could trust them that they will not run away with the money, but also because they are number-oriented people, so I thought they'll make less mistake regarding the money or the envelope, etc. Firstly, it gave the friendly vibe to the guests who came there because the table was located at the very beginning of the wedding venue. When they come in to celebrate my big day, welcoming them in person was nice. And also because people at the table were my family members. When other family members come, then they could have small conversation, ask about their recent life. Since it is very analog, there were cons as well. I needed to think about any mistake or stealing, any risk that happening there. So I prepared them a script that's written like what to say, on when, on which occasion. So luckily anything happened at my wedding. And also, since they're human, they're not too fast. And so before my ceremony start, there was a long line. And that's because most of the guests come to the ceremony just before 10 or 15 minutes before. So there was a long queue and I didn't want anyone to see my wedding ceremony on the line. So I postponed it to start 5 minutes later. I think I would have definitely checked it out because it is really convenient for both the married couple and the guest. For married couple, they don't need to worry too much about who will be on the table and how will it work. And for the guest, it will be faster for them and then they can enjoy the ceremony better. There's just one concern that older guests are not too familiar with the kiosk, even in the other stores as well. So if there is some assistance or any easier way for them, I think it will be a perfect option for them. So this is it for me today, and thank you so much again for having me here. Thank you.
So ending off, while opinions may differ regarding using kiosks to accept wedding gift money or even the concept of giving money as a wedding gift, it's clear that the wedding gift money or 축의금 tradition is evolving with machines now starting to take over tasks that were once done by people. So ending off, I want to ask our panelists, do you think this tradition will continue? And if so, what kind of changes do you expect to see in the near future?
Yes, I think it will continue, and I wouldn't be surprised to see like online weddings happen in the future where
virtual
weddings where you have to pay money up front to receive a link to watch the actual wedding ceremony.
It's like entering a game room.
It's like entering a game room, and I still receive those e-wedding invitations through mobile.
Yes,
and you can actually pay them congratulatory money through the bank account they provide. But I think I receive a lot of these e-invitations through people that I haven't talked to in ages, and like the first Kakao message I receive is like, boom,
I'm getting married.
Yeah, I'm getting married. I'm sorry for not telling you, and I receive it, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm not gonna go. The only reason I don't go is because if I get married, I probably wouldn't invite that person. So this is just my kind of mindset, and I guess they might not like it for me not attending or not even sending them money, but I think it works both ways. And nowadays we're seeing less people choose to get married, especially at an earlier age compared to the past. And with declining birth rates and all that, I think one day this whole wedding ceremony might change dramatically. I don't know which way it's heading, but obviously they'll use more technology and get rid of all these like traditional, conventional things. Where like people are obliged or forced to pay, these kind of gift money. So I think if we're heading in the right direction, I'm all for it. But there are some things that need to be changed, especially here in Korea. Yeah.
Right, and we'll see what kind of changes will be made to the wedding culture moving on. Now, what about you, Fabio?
Well, it seems like these advances in technology are definitely changing the way we approach things,
Right.
making everything more automatic. And I feel like with weddings, although I'm not really sure about Korea because it seems like wedding ceremonies are still like very prevalent. In Spain, for example, it seems like these old traditions are shifting all the time, and weddings are becoming more tailored to the preferences of the couple.
Oh, that's so nice.
To the point where actually people decide to not even marry. I feel like the whole marriage culture in other countries is changing a lot, and I'm expecting these big changes coming to Korea too.
Right, this may be one of the many changes that we'll see in Korea's wedding culture.
What about you, Jin? If you do get married, would you have like this traditional, conventional Korean style wedding, or like,
Or would you go to Hawaii?
twist it and-
I think I like to
small wedding?
twist it and add a little flavor.
What kind of flavor?
Well, we'll have to see it.
We'll have to see
If
in
I come up
future.
with an idea, I'll share it on NewsGen.
Do so.
And that's all from us today, but NewsGen will be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks today to Park Ki-yoon
Thanks for having me.
and Fabio Gonzalez.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.